start our meeting for tonight, the Pembroke Zoning Board of Appeals, Monday, June 16th. My name is Frederick Caspian, I'm the chairman. All the other members identify themselves.
Louis Carpenter.
Chris McGrail.
All right, just to start, please note this meeting is being made available to the public through an audio recording, which will be used to ensure an accurate recording of the proceedings produced in the minutes of the meeting. All comments made in open session will be recorded. PAC TV is providing the service live on Comcast / Xfinity Government Access Channel 9. Those without cable, visit YouTube for live streaming. Okay, so this is the continued hearing, case 4-25, special permit applicant Nick Ivana, 110 Massachusetts Street, one of the units within that property. Okay, who's here? Mr. Avino's here. All right, I went to the property, that's why we continued the hearing, so I went and met with the owner. I think you gentlemen were there too when I was there.
Yeah.
And I can just tell the board, so they have to now, the dealership has to block the 10 spots off. I think it came from the state police, the attorney general, so the first 10 spots when you come in there are just for the car sales, which is in that front building. I went into the unit itself. It's kind of a funky setup, but you walk in and then there's kind of a small lift off to the right, so it can only handle one car in there at a time. That's all it can take in there. So, and then there was a bit about the lighting. I looked at the lighting. The lights all appear to be shining down, but the one shines towards the subject unit. But the owner said if there was any, and I know someone in the, I believe, one of the abutters, to me it didn't appear it was directed at anyone's house. It's definitely directed down, but he said it'll certainly work with any of the abutters if they have an issue. There is already, in one of the permits for Mr. Callahan, it says the lighting is supposed to be directed down and away from, anyone's home. So, specific to this unit, there's really nothing I don't think we can do anymore.
That's from our landlord.
Yeah, and I met with the landlord, he's happy to do it, he just didn't appear that they were doing that, as far as that's where they were shining. Granted, I wasn't at the abutter's house, but,
I have a photo of that.
so what I tell you is there is part of the permit that's for Mr. Callahan, has that about the lighting, and the owner is happy to, redirect them as he can, and work with you, so. But I don't think as far as this meeting, it's really, for this gentleman's application who's in one of the units, he has control over these lights, which he doesn't, so. That said, the owner did say he'd work with any abutters who are here if they find that that's a problem, but it is in one of the prior permits that it's not supposed to be directed at anyone's home, so. Okay. Does the applicant have anything else he wants to add? Anything more from last time?
No, sir.
Okay. Does anyone from the public have anything new to add? I don't take it the wrong way. I don't want to hear just for time's sake for people to repeat the same thing. So if someone has something they want to bring up new, we'll hear it briefly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Susan Hanlon-Donnellan. I'm in a butter.
Mhm.
And I thought your visit would be to assess what we described at the last meeting, to see for yourself, the accuracy of that, and to facilitate a peaceful, reasonable environment for people like me who own property that abut these two, the two commercial buildings there at 110 and 104. I know we're talking about 110 tonight.
Right.
So, I think it's important to reiterate in summary, what was asked of you, because you give the authority to these people and the permission to run a business. And what I'm asking is that you put up guardrails, which I don't think you understood what I was talking about.
I get it now.
Yeah, okay. Conditions under which these businesses will.
Parameters, conditions, yeah.
Yeah, under
Yep.
which they'll operate that are reasonable, that allow us to have peaceful enjoyment and quiet enjoyment of our homes, which we've not had, and I've not had for several years. It's been a hellish, nightmarish experience living there, and there's been no one to go to ask for
Again,
help with that.
And again, I mean, there are conditions on that property already.
Well, we're talking about a new application.
Right, no, I understand that, so
Yeah.
no conditions have been set there yet.
Oh, yeah, so that's why I'm saying I
What
think
I'm-
it's important to
Well,
say
No,
what
and I understand.
what the
and
expectation.
I looked at the other conditions, because if other conditions aren't being enforced, that's not Chris and Lewis's job to do
Right,
anything
so
about that.
I'm asking that you set conditions that will
Right,
be
and we,
enforced.
yeah,
Okay.
and I looked at
All
the
right.
property, and
Okay.
that'll be discussed.
So I guess it's important to me, as someone that can see what's going on there and hear it, and the lights do shine in my bedroom window, and I have a picture of that, and I'm happy to show it to you. So it's kind of offensive to me to have lived for several years with these lights that are extremely bright beaming into my bedroom window. I've had to buy blackout shades, special
Again,
shades.
That's an enforcement issue, you gotta talk to the.
All right, and I will, how will that be facilitated?
We don't handle
Right,
enforcement.
well.
You gotta go to the building inspector, I told you
Okay.
guys this last time.
Okay.
We don't go down and enforce.
Well, I said that to you, so I understand that. All right, so what I'd like to ask is that when you do allow these permits, first of all, I ask that you don't allow it, but if you were to allow it, that there be regular business hours and no 24/7 activity, no weekend activity. What seems to happen with these businesses is that there's an owner, and then they allow several different types of businesses in there. So if it's supposed to be a car repair place, it suddenly becomes the home of landscapers and motorcycle repair and all kinds of things. So not talking about necessarily this, this person, but there's a creep that goes on, and there's no recourse for people like me. There's no one to go to. Again, you say, oh, it's the building inspector, but there's no response, there's no help. So to kind of cut that off, asking that you put these like regular business hours, no weekends. For example, there's a U-Haul business that goes on the weekends. This is a car repair place. So if you may not be aware of it, but that's what happens. There's this creep, there's additional businesses that come in that you may not even know about, and that we suffer with it, we as abutters. So I'll just speak for myself. So, regular business hours, no weekends. I will follow up on the lights because it's absolutely outrageous. I mean, it lights up my whole backyard.
Okay. Yeah, I talked to the owner, I think he'd be happy to.
Yeah,
Get in
so
touch.
now I have to spend my time and energy speaking with a gentleman I don't know and saying, can you please aim those down, which they're not aimed down. And why is that my responsibility? To me, it seems like a burden that's put on me that shouldn't have happened. But I will follow up with him.
Yeah.
The noise levels are crazy. So the doors are up, people are working outside 24/7. It could be 11 o'clock at night, it could be 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now, I have noticed that there's a computer-operated property surveillance machine there. I don't know what it's doing. It's a box. That seems to have helped.
It's a camera.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that seems to have helped since the last meeting. Thank you, whoever put that in.
That was the owner.
Yeah, thank you. Because it seems to have cut down on some of this insane activity. But that's going to go away. I mean, that probably costs a lot of money. And then we'll be back to the same situation where I'm looking out my bedroom window or standing on my back deck, and it's so loud, and it's Sunday morning, and there's activity going on over there. So it's really a unfortunate, distressing, harmful situation. In fact, my son said to me today, Mom, it's been awful. It puts stress on a family. So I think it's not fair to just not consider the rights of the people who are all around this when you're making these decisions. So that's my request to you, is that you consider our rights, our legal rights, our rights as just neighbors, to have peaceful enjoyment of the property.
Okay, appreciate it.
Let me just make sure I don't have anything else. Yeah, there are the obvious concerns about property values and selling homes when there's all this activity going on. And so I'm afraid that if you don't say these things out loud, it's very uncomfortable to have to say these things. But if you don't say them, then nobody cares. Like, it's not your house. You don't have this stuff going on. So to you, it's probably, oh, you can dismiss it. But when it's happening to you and it's impacting your family, you know, it is a big deal.
Right, but we haven't dismissed anything. We haven't even
Oh,
conditioned
well,
anything.
I'm
or
just
done
asking you to not, that's all.
Yeah,
So I
that's
will
fair.
assume that you will consider it.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much, so I think it is important to kind of recap a little bit what was said last time and not ignore it. So again, I'm not an unreasonable person. I don't know any of these people. I would like to have cordial relationships with all the people. But I also feel like it's just unfair to put people like me, who have worked hard for a long time, into this position of having to speak out in this uncomfortable way, just to defend your, like, you know, you're right, just to have a nice place to live.
Yep.
So, very concerned about the commercial creep, and in particular, the 110 Metakeesit and whatever's happening around there.
Okay. All right, thank you. Did anyone else have anything new to add? Yep.
Hi, Lauren Gasliatis, 110 Metakeesit. We thought after last meeting, people would just come. You guys said no working past 5, 6 o'clock on the weekends. We thought people would just go about their day, go to work. Next morning, after the meeting, we get an email from our vendors. Mr. Ivano has been emailing, calling, but he calls himself Michael Douglas in the emails. We're horrible people, we're not licensed, we're not insured, we use used parts, don't ever go to us. This is a federal government contract we have. After the phone call, he emailed, this is Michael Douglas again, I brought it, the post office gave it to us. This is Michael Douglas, we spoke last week. Big long email again of his demands, he's going to channel 725, he's going to go to Fox News if nothing's been done. But he forgets to state that on the bottom, it says it's from Nick Ivano, South Shore Metal and gmail.com. So, not only that, it shows here that was his old business through this. Then we get, keep my effing name out of your mouths. Shit's gonna happen, don't start something you can't finish, this is my final and last warning. These are all the police reports that we've had to file. Harassment, threats. You don't know who I am, you don't know who I know, keep going there, keep it nice, it can get real nasty. I'm a real bad bastard to everybody. I mean, the police department just wishes someone would take a walk over and see the amount of complaints, because it's not just me. When I walked in, I said I wanted to file some things, I brought all my paperwork. This is only half. There's Google accounts, he put up bad reviews for us, for K5. Police department traced them all back to him. We're gonna see what happens tonight, see how many threats. I've been told not to come here tonight. It's just been very uncomfortable.
That's
He's
not true.
okay.
It's absolutely not true.
You can talk to both detectives over there, and Sergeant Ryan Botto, Sergeant Kevin Doyle. There's plenty. As soon as I said 110 Matakeesit, they said, we know Mr. Ivano's back. I don't know how you guys want to go to work every night.
Hold on, so let me ask you a question.
Hey,
Guys.
If you're gonna speak, you gotta come up to the mic. But it's only through me, so.
That's all we want, is someone to go up and say, it was uncalled for, absolutely uncalled
Guys.
Money
for.
back from your husband that destroyed all of my vehicles. That's why I'm here. You
Guys,
have
it's-
no idea what your husband did.
Guys.
No, we're all set, because it's been lie after lie. The
So why
vendors,
didn't they
we
give you
recertified them
Savannah,
all,
if-
we're all set. I mean, we didn't lose any business. We've
Okay.
had customers come back, and
Okay.
no one deserves to work like this.
No.
Then move.
If my,
Someplace else.
yeah,
Then move.
I've been there 10
Mr.
years.
Ivano, if you keep it up, then I'll put it to a vote, okay?
I can't, this is a joke.
Okay. If you have police matters, that, again, that's, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I don't discount it, but obviously that's not something Chris and Louis and I.
It's a little childish. It's a
Louis
little
and I can-
childish.
That we deal with.
Right, but it's a little childish.
Okay,
And it's not only happening to us in there, it's happening to the other vendors.
okay.
I never bothered
All right,
Brian.
thank you.
Because Brian never bothered me.
All right, anyone else?
I just have one thing I want to show you, if you don't mind.
Is this about the lights?
Yeah, just so you can see,
No, I
this
get-
is from my bedroom window.
Okay.
Like, I'm standing at my bedroom window, and that's before I pulled the
Okay.
blackout curtains. So this never was like this.
All right, again, yeah, there's a permit in place that says they're gonna be down, but I saw Mr., who's the owner?
I figured his last name.
The owner was
Lou's
just
his
here,
first
so.
name.
Yeah, I know, it makes me very scared to have to deal with this on my own. So,
Well, there's already a restriction about lights on the property.
right,
I can't restrict them more.
and that's great.
And
I
I-
would just like it to, I'll contact the building.
Yeah, I don't
building,
I don't know what else you
No,
want us to do about it.
Well-
I feel for you if that's the
Yeah.
case,
Yeah, no, this is the case.
we
and
can't do anything.
The reason I'm showing it to you is because you said, well, it didn't look like they were aiming anywhere else. So I'm just telling you.
I mean,
the
those
re-
look like they're aiming down, but you can see them.
This is in my, lighting up my bedroom. I mean, this is ridiculous. So I will work with them,
Okay.
but just, this is to counter what you said, that they're aimed down, because they're aimed into my bedroom. So
Okay.
I'm just telling you the truth, the
I'm just,
reality.
I know, and if that's the case, I was there during the day, they just appear to be directed down.
I sit here at night.
Okay. All right. If no one else has anything to say, I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. All right, is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
All right. Have any more
No.
discussion on this?
Question regarding Saturdays, if this were to move, what is, do we know what the hours of Cabillions
So
are as far
there's-
as Saturdays?
Cabillions is a Monday through Friday.
Okay.
The permits on the property currently, at least based on the prior permits from '01 and I think '07, Mr. Callahan and Lauren Russelitis, I'm probably saying that wrong. We're Monday through Friday. These are 7 to 6. No work on holidays, no work on weekends. That's what's sort of on the property now.
Okay.
At least, I think, the front building and the fleet building. And there's some other restrictions too.
Right.
So, I think in this area, when I spoke to the owner, so he did put up that camera and he sectioned off the parking better. I'm not gonna get into the back and forth between the
No,
tenants.
that's-
It's not our purview.
So, yeah.
It's unfortunate, I hope people wouldn't do that. So that said, and we can talk about it, I was proposing some conditions, if it's allowed. It's certainly an allowed use by special permit in there, there's dealer auto mechanics surrounding it.
Right.
And there is already a condition on the lighting, but we can reiterate that, I suppose, if we did a, I just don't know how much ability the petitioner actually has to do anything with that light. There is a condition already on the property, which would,
What does it just say, directing down, lights directing down?
something to that effect, yeah. What's it say?
He has a condition to keep the bay doors down.
The meeting's closed now, so we can't take any more comment.
Well, if you're talking about conditions, you're talking about all.
We're talking amongst ourselves, though. Thank
Again.
you very much. We gave you your time.
It's closed. Once the meeting's closed, we can't take any more,
Okay.
so, but we heard what you said.
Thank you.
Yeah, exterior lights shall be adjusted and shielded as necessary so they don't shine down on so they shine down on the property, don't shine onto other property. So there is a condition in place that's there. So I don't think we need to add it to this one, because it's specific to this unit,
Yeah.
which didn't have a light on it.
Right.
So if I was gonna propose conditions, it'd be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, no work on holidays. No work outside, all the work's gonna be inside the unit with the bay door closed. One car worked on at a time, so there's not a pile of cars out in front of the place. No outside storage, not that I saw any there, but no outside storage of materials, inventory, parts. And this permit is only gonna be good for a year, and to see if this place gets cleaned up and is running properly and there's no, additional complaints.
Correct.
I've done that in the past, I've seen that in the past in other towns.
I think we did that with like Sousa.
There was noise
Sousa, we did a
issues.
special permit for a year or 2, I think it was 2 years or whatever, something like that.
Yep, I'd propose a year
I agree with you.
do you guys have anything else you would think? For any possible conditions?
We've got lights, we've got hours, vehicles that take care of sound too at the same time, right?
I think if everything's contained within the building, I don't know how much else we can do about, sound besides containing it in the building.
I don't have anything else.
Assuming you're even in favor of it, I think it qualifies for what it is and where it is and the type of business.
I think there's a lot of unfortunate circumstances attached to it, but I don't think there's anything barring us from doing it. But as quick as if we were to give it to them, it can be removed. So it's more of an opportunity to do the right thing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'd probably add to, it's not gonna run with the land, it's just gonna run with the petitioner.
Going to run one for a year with the petitioner, with the bay, and, if zoning enforcement goes down and says otherwise, that there's XYZ infractions, then they do what they will. And the special permit is null and void, right?
Yeah, they gotta be in compliance.
Right.
Louis, you have any?
And if someone's living there, like someone had expressed concerns about, someone was staying there, especially on weekends, that would be out of compliance, correct?
Yeah, no one should be living there, there's no,
But that was
It's not-
something.
it's not a
just
residence.
a legal thing anyways, you know what I mean? We could put it in there, but it's just restating something that's illegal.
Yeah,
yeah, they're not supposed to be staying in there.
right.
There's no occupancy permit for,
Of course, yeah.
residents, so. Anything else you leaning towards a vote or
Yeah,
in favor? Or-
I'm ready to vote.
Okay, Louis?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna reiterate that lighting though. Away from butters. All right, so, and then, Chris, if Louis, once we do this, I'll lay it out, and then you can say so moved if you want, and then we can vote on it.
I like it.
So, I'll make a motion to allow the petition, subject to the following conditions. The hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM. No work on, we call it federal holidays. No work will be conducted outside. All work must be conducted within the unit with the bay door closed. They can have one car being worked on at a time and on the property that's being worked on at a time. No outside storage of any materials, inventory, or parts. This permit is going to be good for 1 year from once it's filed with the clerk. And then they'll have to come back in. We'll see how they're doing. Any lighting that this particular petitioner and unit has shall be directed down and away from any neighboring abutters. And this special permit is not going to run with the land, but it's gonna stay with the petitioner, so if the petitioner moves, leaves, or sells the business or otherwise, then the special permit shall be null and void. That's what I propose. You have any discussion on that, or?
No,
In case we're missing anything.
yeah, the 1 year thing's fine, because they're tenant at will, so at least, you know what I mean, it's not like it goes with the lease. It
Well, they're
just-
gonna have to come back in, and if they're not, if we're getting complaints or there's issues, then
Right.
they're gonna go through this process again, potentially, and, you know, and if it's going fine, then there's no issue, and they likely just re-up the permit and move on.
Okay.
But with the complaints and I know it's been cleaned up somewhat, but some of these issues that the tenants and the butters have been talking about,
It's an
I think we kind
opportunity.
of keep it on a short leash for a year. So that's my thought. You guys, any other discussion on it, or?
I'll go to,
Okay,
I think it's
so,
inclusive of all the concerns that have been expressed.
okay. So with those conditions, we'll make a motion to allow the special permit subject to all those conditions. Get a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, we can put it to a vote. Louis?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, and that's an aye for me. Okay, so you have your special permit subject to all those conditions. That's gonna get written up by Sue and approved by the board. And then you have to file that with the clerk's office. I'm sorry, it'll get filed with the clerk's office. An appeal period's gotta run 20 days, assuming no one appeals it. Potentially in a butter could. You then have to go record that at the registry. Okay, and then that's gonna be good for a year. And then you guys can come back in. And if everything's going smoother, then I don't see any issues, but that's where we are. Okay,
I do appreciate it, gentlemen, thank you.
all right. Do we have minutes? Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we got-
Appreciate it. Mr. Cavan, Mr. Cavan, just want to, in a minute, no, I was going to talk to you in 1 minute. We're just going to close this out. We had minutes.
Yeah, May 19th, you're in the back.
Louis, you want to make a motion on, something have those? Okay, just make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 19, 2025. Get a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that it, Sue, administratively? Okay, all right. Meeting adjourned?
Meeting adjourned.